What is good, y'all, and welcome back. Today we are going to be doing something that I have wanted to do for quite some time now. We are going to be reacting to 3 scary stories. I hope you're ready to be spooked.
One day, while looking for a part-time job, I saw a recruitment ad that was looking for an assistant for a YouTube channel. The salary was $200 a day. I was excited and applied right away, and asked my friend Matthew to come with me. A few days later, we decided to meet the YouTuber nearby. We got into his car and drove almost 2 hours to an abandoned factory in some remote area. When we arrived, there were other people there as well. They also came for the recruitment, and there were about 4 of them, and we exchanged greetings with one another. A moment later, the YouTuber walked over wearing a mask and holding axes in each hand. We watched him nervously, and he introduced himself as a YouTuber who shoots horror videos. He showed us his channel, but the number of subscribers was very low, less than 100. I wanted to know what this was all about, but I thought he was a person with a lot of money and just ignored it. But I should have noticed. He set up the camera and started explaining to us.
I'm an axe murderer, and you guys will be murdered by me today. Don't touch your phone once the shooting starts. Don't go outside.
Suddenly, the tone of his voice turned cold, and I got goosebumps.
Okay.
He said,
Now the night of the death begins.
Immediately
No
he came running
way.
at breakneck speed and began slashing down a man frantically with an axe. The man shouted,
Ah! I was really hit. This is a real axe.
blood splattered with a thud, and an ear-splitting scream shook the building. At that
What?
moment, my legs felt weak and almost fell down.
And y'all just
the
sat
screaming
there?
sound of others was ear-shattering. While I was
Dang!
shaking, Matthew, who was next to me, said,
Hey, we're done.
People ran to the entrance of the abandoned factory and tried to open the door, but it was locked. People knocked on the door frantically asking for help, but no one was around. People took out their cell phones and tried to call the police, but every time they did, the man knocked them down with his axe. I started racking my brain
gosh,
like
there's
crazy.
no way.
I had never been so focused in my life. If this continues, everyone in here will die within 10 minutes. In the end, there was only one way. It was to
Dang,
steal
yo,
the
they're
man's
cooking.
axe. I said quietly to Matthew.
If we take the axe, then we win.
Matthew cried.
Our heads will be split in 2 first.
Looking at Matthew, I said,
Even if we stay still, we will die anyway. The 2 of us, let's seize his hands at the same time.
In the meantime, the
was gonna
psycho
say,
was
why not just
knocking
gang
down
up on
people
him?
with his axe in a flash. Several people were bleeding and moaning on the floor. At that time, a man attacked the psycho, and the 2
Get his
started
ass.
fighting.
Get his ass.
At that moment, I told Matthew.
Hold his left hand.
Matthew and I ran frantically and grabbed the psycho's hands. Then he struggled like mad, and I managed to snatch away one axe from his hand. But Matthew missed his hand, and the psycho raised his axe and hit Matthew.
Ah!
Matthew's scream infuriated me, and I slammed the psycho's back with all my might with the axe. He groaned and fell to the floor. I continued to hit him with the axe with all my might, and he fell,
hit him again.
bleeding, and never
Yep.
got up again. I gasped for breath and called the police, and when the police arrived shortly after, the scene was horrendous. 2 people died, and 2 were seriously injured. Matthew was seriously injured, and they were all taken away by an ambulance. The psycho was dead. The police checked on the camera he was filming, which vividly recorded scenes of people being murdered by an axe. The police were in great shock. I searched for his YouTube channel that the psycho had told me about. There were about 3 videos uploaded, but all of them were videos of him attacking many people with an axe. In the video, he was running with an axe, chasing people. Then the screen went black, only the dull sound of the axe hitting and people screaming. Then, at the end, the man appeared on the screen again, holding an axe stained with blood.
If you're curious about the actual video, click on the link in the description. You can see the actual murder scene for $100.
And I could see people lying down far away. When I entered the link, a strange website appeared with a number of actual videos uploaded. I informed the police about this, and they began to search for additional victims. I don't know what happened after that. Much time has passed, and Matthew and I are still friends, but he still shudders when he thinks of that day and he still has a big scar on his shoulder.
I I highly doubt that was a something like that actually happened. But what if they all walked into the warehouse? I forgot how many people was said, but what, there were at least like 5 or 6, and you saw the man sprinting at somebody with an axe, just an axe, no gun, no nothing. What shouldn't you have tried to beat his ass then and there? They're already scared before it happened, so what what more could they have been afraid of? But on to the next one. My daughter is strange.
This is the story of my 6-year-old daughter, Riley. She was a good girl, but one day she started acting strangely.
Ooh.
One day
Ooh,
at
what's she
dawn,
doing?
she suddenly looked out the window and started howling like a wolf. When I
She thought she
asked
was a furry.
why, she said that there was a wolf spirit outside and she was talking with the wolf.
Oh, hell.
Mom, the wolf says that our
Ooh,
house is where
hell
dead
nah.
souls gather. I got goosebumps, but I just passed it over, thinking it wouldn't be a big deal. But even after that,
Do you see the way she's looking at you?
happened again and again. Suddenly, she looked into the air and talked to someone, drew a strange-looking monster on her notebook, and said it was her friend. The monster was a very
Nope.
terrifying creature with
Nope.
6 eyes and 6 limbs
She's
that
over
looked as if
drawing
3 humans were
forest
combined
creatures.
together. And it possibly could not have been drawn by a 6-year-old. I tried to scold her, and I tried to talk her out of it, but she never got better. One day, on my
See,
way to
she
work,
was-
I told her that I would be coming in late because I need to work overtime. Then she said, Mom, I have so many friends at home, so I'm not lonely.
Yeah, she would have been at the foster home after that one.
I ended up taking her to a psychiatrist, but even the doctor couldn't figure out exactly why she was behaving like
the mom
this.
tripping. She said,
Then one day, she suddenly handed me some bread and asked me to eat it. The moment I picked up the bread and put it in my mouth, I recognized that something red was all over the bread.
Ew.
I asked in surprise, Sweetie, what is this? She said, It's hamster blood. Kevin told me to give it to you. My heart sank, and I looked at the hamster cage in her room and found the hamster was dead. I was so shocked and angry, so I grabbed her and yelled, Who is Kevin? Why are you doing this? I yelled at the top of my lungs, and she pointed to the wall next to me and said,
That's Kevin. His jaw is down to the ground and his mouth is 5 feet wide. He's looking at you and drooling, and his saliva is like jelly. And Kevin's mouth is full of dead animals and dead people because he can't digest anything since he has no organs. He says he wants to eat you too.
I got goosebumps, grabbed her hand, and ran out of the house.
She
right
waved?
away. Then I got in the car and sped like crazy until I got to a Catholic church in the neighborhood. I frantically searched for the priest and
Bruh,
explained
she gonna need-
everything without
she gonna need
hesitation.
more than God.
Then the priest thought for a moment and said, Your daughter has made friends with sinister spirits. Your daughter won't get hurt, but the people around her will be in danger. I will say my prayers for Riley. The priest held her and prayed the rosary for a
Look,
long
she about to
time.
get him killed.
And she mocked the prayer or shouted it at the priest in an unknown language. I was really embarrassed and couldn't believe all this, but there was no other way, so I continued to visit the priest after that. After visiting the church dozens of times, surprisingly, Riley gradually came back to normal. She no longer stared into space, talked to herself, or did anything strange.
She had that.
I was so
insidious
happy,
in her.
and now my family could live a normal life. I didn't go to the church anymore, and after a few months like that, one day, Riley looked into the air again and shouted,
Mom, the priest is here.
I was surprised and asked her, The priest? Why is he here? Then Riley pointed into the air, and there was nothing she was pointing at, and she said with a
Oh,
bright
he got-
smile,
Here he is in Kevin's mouth.
Ooh, nah. 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 That wouldn't be my daughter no more. If you take your possessed daughter, obviously possessed daughter, to a church to have her cleansed, and she isn't saved after that, what's the next step? Like, you... I guess that's it. Okay, so this next one is a true Burger King horror story. Let's check it out.
So far, the kind of horror stories I have seen had a few things in common. The victim in most cases happens to be alone and everything happens during the day. But what if I tell you that the story I'm about to share terrified the living crap out of me in broad daylight?
At
That
Burger
too,
King?
in public. I work at Burger King. Yes, it's my full-time job. I dropped out of college and moved out because my addict parents, who fought like animals under one roof. Generally, after all that traumatic childhood, you feel nothing can shock you anymore, but let me tell you, you are wrong. So wrong. It was a busy Wednesday afternoon. The restaurant was running in full swing. Customers were getting takeaways or eating with their close ones. I have just finished serving 5 tables simultaneously.
Hey, I'm going for a smoke. Okay, I got you, Rosie.
I went to the back of the restaurant. I was standing beside the dumpster smoking and observing cars drive by and people walking on the street when I suddenly noticed our manager sitting on the opposite sidewalk and moving back and forth in a crazy way. I zoomed in with my back camera just when she looked at me. Her eyes were closed and she had a smile on her face.
What the fuck?
Whoa, that's creepy.
Oh, God.
She then got up and started crossing the road with her eyes closed. Her smile got bigger every time she made it past a horrible runover. I couldn't watch it anymore. I ran inside to talk to our employees about this, just when she started banging the restaurant door like a maniac.
I'll break you! I'll finish you! You can't escape me!
The entire place broke into chaos as we all watched our manager damaging her own property with violent rage. She looked furious and mentally unstable from the way she behaved. The kids started crying out of panic. Everyone was so shocked to see a random stranger behave like that, they forgot to do anything. Suddenly, one man standing close to the door tried to calm the woman down. Miss, what are you doing? Please tell me what is your problem?
I don't want to hear anything!
She just kept screaming, banging on the door. The door was already broken and hung to its last few breaths when the man tried to stop her and the woman slapped him.
Damn!
Don't interrupt me!
Hey! What the hell do you think you're doing? One of our employees charged her. Immediately, a few others went along.
Donna? What are you? Stay away from me!
The man who just got slapped lost his head and pushed the Donna away. Realizing the man is stronger than her, she calmed down. But instead of leaving, she walked right in. And boy, the way she entered. She gestured her hand in the air and started making a whooshing sound from her mouth.
Whoosh, 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 whoosh.
What?
She constantly did this and pushed some invisible energy towards the man like she was trying some mind control trick on him.
Oh my God! We need to call the cops. This woman is crazy.
Facts.
She's trying some black magic thingy. Freak. I'll call the owner now.
My fellow employee Riley rushed to the other corner and I dialed 911. Once she got in, she started bizarrely moving her hands, like she was casting a spell on everyone inside the restaurant. This made all the customers scream and back off from her.
Where is she? Where is she?
She jumped on the counter and started stomping on it with her feet.
Man, what the hell?
Itsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again.
Her eyes popped out like evil. The way Donna screamed, spitting all over us, was a sight I'll never forget.
That's some COVID right there,
Suddenly, she jumped on the other side of the counter, running straight to the kitchen. Our chefs moved away from her path in fear, and she walked straight to Riley, who was sitting at a table talking to the owner.
Oh my God, y'all let
Before
her,
we
y'all
all
let
knew
her go to the
she
back?
jumped on her and grabbed her shirt. Then she took her face extremely close to her and started growling at her like a wild animal. Riley began screaming, but Donna didn't let her go. Instead, she started shaking her violently and screaming at her like a possessed woman. She started slapping and punching her. Riley shouted for help, and 2 men rushed to the woman.
Her these 2 pieces.
It was impossible to separate her. The men even couldn't do it.
I am going to crush you like a spider. You filthy woman!
Donna
Why is she so
ripped
angry?
Riley's clothes, giving her trauma for a lifetime. Now, I couldn't watch it anymore. I dropped my phone and jumped on them.
You start beating her ass?
Seeing my step up, all the women employees came to Riley's rescue. We understood that men are not going to be able to raise their hands at her, so if anything needs to be done now, must come from the girl gang. As we all jumped on Donna and grabbed her, she slowly let go of Riley, but kept throwing punches and kicks. She even spat at us, but we didn't let her go. Now that she was trapped, she stopped pushing it.
Don't touch me! Don't! Leave me, okay?
We let her go, but guarded her so she couldn't harm anyone anymore. When the cops came and arrested her, she started crying.
Please, let me go home. I haven't slept for a long time. My mind is going crazy. I can hear the voices in my head 24/7. They just won't stop
Schizophrenia?
talking, please.
The restaurant got taken over by her relative and she never came back. All we got to know from workplace gossip is that her husband cheated on her with some woman, and it made Donna go crazy. I'm still working here, and I hope I get to see Donna again, but as a happy, peaceful person. Donna, if you're watching this,
I hope you're getting the help you need. Take care.
the story you just saw is based on this true footage shot at a Burger King outlet. The day was going like usual when suddenly the manager of the outlet snapped out and started behaving like crazy. She began damaging the restaurant in complete rage, and when a customer tried to stop her, she slapped him. The manager then moved on with her vile insults and weird behavior, and even attacked a Burger King employee. Her insanity carried on until the cops showed up and calmed her down.
The
reason of such outbursts is still unknown, but it terrifies to witness how a perfectly normal human being turned into a deranged mad woman that no one saw coming.
Huh. Damn, down. I mean, it said True Burger King Horror Story. I didn't think they actually had like the real footage though. I guess that's what happens when you just snap. Just start wilding. All right, y'all. So I know I said 3, but we're going to add one more because I felt like we could just spice it up a little bit. So this is the 4th scary story. This one is going to be based off of an urban legend. I don't know which one it is though.
I came to Japan to work as a nurse in a post-surgical unit. Patients come from hundreds of miles away to get their operations here. The surgeons are known to be the best. But what we don't tell the patients, what we're not supposed to tell them, is that this one is haunted. There have been more than a few events that have raised the hair on the back of my neck, and some have sent me into hysterical screaming fits. There was that time a few months ago when a patient told me she saw a woman wearing a red kimono stand beside her bed and watch her all night. The patient didn't see her face, as her black hair covered it.
Really? Where did you see her? There. She was standing right there.
The patient pointed at the curtains with a fearful face. I pulled back the curtains and showed her myself. All of the other beds were empty, and there was no visitors or staff in the room with her.
See,
as if that wasn't disturbing enough, a few weeks later, a different patient said the same thing, when she had been left alone in the same room.
Did you see her face? Oh, no, but I saw something else.
The patient was trembling like a timid rabbit.
What did you see? Her head was touching the ceiling. Her neck stretched up so high, almost like a snake.
Now, that made my skin crawl a bit. I looked at the watch. It was 2:30 in the morning, and I was already tired from pulling a night shift back to back in a row. I gave the patient some medicines to help her sleep. Once she fell asleep, I decided to stay awake in that ward. The ward has 6 beds and only one of them has a patient. Rests were neatly made, white beds waiting for their temporary owner. I picked up a magazine and sat on a chair. After 15 minutes, I could barely keep my eyes open. I knew it was against hospital rules, but I still laid down on the corner-side bed. It was honestly a quick and much-needed nap. I don't recall the time when I heard running footsteps on the wooden floor.
No, sir.
I got up thinking someone has come, but found no one. The ward was empty like before. The one patient was now snoring.
Hello? Is anyone here?
My senses sharpened once I heard a woman's chuckling voice.
What the what the fuck was that? If I was being haunted and hunted at night, bro, and somebody made that little ass chuckle, I would have laughed in their face. I don't care how evil you is. That
The door was closed like I had left it a few moments back. This proves that the chuckle took place inside this room.
Mrs. Tanaka? Are you sleepwalking again?
I couldn't turn on the lights as it'll wake up the ailing patient. The night lamp wasn't enough, so I switched on the flashlight on my phone. I saw a woman dressed in a red kimono standing right beside the door. She was far from me, so I couldn't see her face. But one thing I could tell was that she was staring at me with an ear-to-ear smile.
Oh, God.
A sudden call from my mom almost gave me a heart attack.
At 3 in the morning?
Hi, Mom.
You just gonna answer it?
Awake? Coco, are you all right? I'm perfectly fine, but why are you asking me this in the middle of the night? I had a very bad dream. Where are you? I'm at the hospital, Mom. Where else would I be? It's
So
my night shift.
She answered
Again.
the phone with a monster in
Did
front of
you
her?
say night shift? Yeah, why? I just saw you dozing off at your night shift and you were being watched by this strange woman. She wore this red kimono and was...
Before my mom could finish her sentence, the call got disconnected. The phone dropped off from my shivering hands. With a slow, erratic heartbeat, I turned around where I saw the creepy woman a few seconds back. But she was gone.
Hello? What do you want?
My eyes searched the entire room, but the woman was nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, my phone lit up once again. It was again my mom calling. I crouched down to pick up my phone, and accidentally my eyes went towards the patient's bed. I could see a pair of red feet peeking under a red kimono. I jumped and looked above the bed. There was no one.
What? Is this a nightmare?
By now, I have started to lose my mind. I just saw a woman's feet
leave.
under the bed,
You
but
gotta
when
leave
I
that
looked
patient.
up, there was no one standing beside the patient's
You gotta
bed.
go.
I crouched down once again, and now again, I saw those bare feet. The nails on the big toes were missing, revealing the red, puffy flesh underneath. I froze in that position. I was scared to look up when suddenly the feet started rotating to the back. A loud, horrifying sound of bones breaking took place with each movement of them. My voice died down in my throat. I knew what the patients kept saying about this ward is true, and I might not probably make it out of this room alive tonight. Just when I was on the verge of crying, the woman's neck dropped to her head started to roll down on the floor.
Man, is
Like
this
a
a
snake,
Orochimaru?
her
What
long
the fuck?
neck stretched to inhuman lengths and started coming at me.
Help!
I got up and started running
There
towards
you
the
go.
opposite side.
Skedaddle.
I aimed for the door, but before I could get out, I tripped
Ow, I
and
know.
fell. I laid on my back, knowing the laughter has come from a close distance.
You just gave up?
I didn't want to turn around,
You just
but
don't
I
give up?
knew I have to. My
Really?
head slowly arched back to catch a glimpse, and the woman's head was touching the ceiling.
fuck that.
Her mouth was open, and blood was dripping from it. Her swirled, twisted neck moved side to side like a bobbing spring. I don't remember when I fainted. I naturally left that job at the hospital after my parents picked me up from the hospital. I was down with a fever. My grandma says Japanese people believe in this urban legend, which goes by the name Rokurokubi. They are said to be vengeful spirits roaming around at night. They love drinking their victims' blood, which made sense for her bleeding mouth. I don't know why she let me go or any other patient who stayed in that ward. There's still no news of her hurting
That's
anyone,
crazy.
but
The
I
feet
guess
turning
she gets
around
bored
is
alone.
crazy.
hence decides to play with people for her entertainment. Whatever the reason may be, I'm never going near that hospital ever again.
Hey, I feel you. I am moving cities, states, counties, maybe a country after experiencing something like that. Well, that was originally 3 horror stories, but 4 animated horror stories. I just thought it was a good time to finally react to them, because I have been wanting to react to them for quite some time. I just didn't know when I should do it or which ones I should react to, and I'm like, just go for it, right? But we will be doing more of those later down the line, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.